All right, good morning, everyone. It is Saturday. We're running a little late. Lindsay's running a little behind, but I do have Violetta here from Money Chisma, founder. And so, welcome back. It's been a few weeks, right?
Yeah. I had a fun time last time. We had a great conversation, so I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. We're gonna main topic we're probably going to discuss on is the idea that a lot of people kind of maybe hate landlords or saying rental properties are evil. But we'll kind of dig into that first with Violetta's thoughts on that. And this was kind of her topic, that's why. So is that something you're getting pushed back a lot, you think, right now?
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the things that people are struggling with, especially with like the housing market, like the home affordability issue and the shortage and all that. I think people are starting to see like um, behind the scenes and see real estate investors. They didn't really know much, and now it's kind of coming up. And so I've had a few. I actually had kind of like a mini debate on someone, a realtor that also had the same mindset, like didn't like real estate investors. So like I guess he didn't realize that I was a real estate investor. So we had a little um, mini debate, which we saw, which was didn't go bad, but I saw what he was talking about, thinking that like we're just taking up these houses and contributing to the problem. And as I go through trying to, because one of my goals is to get more Latinas into real estate investing, that's one of the things. That's one of the things that stop them because they see like money as evil, which of course with real estate, the goal is to gain financial freedom and build wealth and all that. So and then on top of that, you're hoarding all these houses. So it's one of the things that they have to um, they struggle with to overcome and actually get into it, because they're fine with like stocks and all that stuff, but like for some reason real estate is like it's a morality thing for them. So I don't know if you've had dealt with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I move on, let me just say good morning to a few people tuning in. We do have Flavio from Grandview, Washington. JSEC tuning in. I just saw them earlier on one of the school calls. So hopefully that's done. But thanks for tuning in. We got Buzz Tune tuning in from Hawaii also. We got Big Andy from Ohio. And we got, oh, Lead Pray Hold is here. That's Nick. So Nick is a real estate investor who's kind of slightly pivoted. He's kind of gone all into Bitcoin. So Nick will be back on Monday on the live stream, but there is Nick's YouTube channel. So go please subscribe, follow him. And also there is Violetta's Instagram page. So if you want to connect with her, get in her community also, go subscribe and follow her. And also Lindsay's YouTube channel. Nick says he has a hat that says, I have a hat that says landlording is not a crime.
That's
Yeah,
what
but
I said.
definitely,
Yeah.
yeah, to your question though, I think I do hear that quite a bit now.
Hmm.
But I want to go even further back to maybe when you were younger though, what your thoughts were.
Hmm.
Because for me, I don't know if I would say that I thought landlording was evil, but I
Hmm.
definitely buying rental properties wasn't something I thought about. I thought like you just, one home is enough. That's all you need.
Hmm.
And for me, I definitely looked at rent real estate, buying up real estate as kind of a not necessary in a sense, but what has changed for you from when you were younger? Maybe your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think when I was younger, like we lived in a duplex, and I at that time had a positive view of landlord, because the one that I remember him, that he was our landlord, and he gave my dad like the opportunity, because like we had just come over here, and then my dad like was trying to find somewhere for us to stay, and he was like, yeah, I gave my dad a chance, and we stayed there. I think I want to say like 10 years or so, as my parents saved up for their first house, and he helped us out a lot. Like he was one of those like empathetic landlords and everything like that. So growing up, you know, with that landlord, like I had kind of like a positive view on that, and that was like my only experience at that time, because then like my parents bought their first house, and then we stayed there. And then I think when I started renting, I never rented like from like a small landlord. It was like apartments. So like that's when I was like, oh, okay, whatever. But I see them like as a corporate type deal, and I was like, all right, whatever. And then for me, the goal was always just like buy my first house. That's the American dream, right? And then when I bought my first house at my second duty station, when it was time for me to move, I was like, okay, what do I do with this house? Like, and I had a supervisor that told me to like rent it out. But I think at that time, I I didn't really have a negative view until I started learning more about real estate. And of course, during this time, it was like 2019, so COVID was coming around the corner. And 2019, when I started learning more about it. And so then I started feeling guilty. I started feeling guilty in hearing all that negativity towards real estate investors, and I'm like, man, am I doing the right thing? Because at this time, my first house was a single family home. My second home was a single family home. And so was the third one that I bought in California. And so I started having a little bit of that guilt come up, like, and am I contributing to the problem? Which kind of led into the decision of switching over to multifamily properties, duplexes. So I got rid of the first two single family homes and then instead bought multifamily. So I think that was a little thing of me to kind of like, I guess, get rid of a little bit of that guilt so I don't feel like I was a bad real estate investor contributing to the problem. So yeah, I don't know, like, what did you have anything like that?
Yeah, I think for me, let's let Lindsay in. She's just tuning in. Let's let her in real quick.
Mhm.
There she is. We didn't say anything bad about you, Lindsay. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Only
Why is that
positive.
the first thing you say when I come?
Were you at Costco
You're
shopping and that's
already
why you're late,
guilty.
or were you at Costco?
She slept in. She slept in. Wait. Yeah, you're yeah, she slept in because that she's on Cali time.
All right.
Literally, I wake up at 4:30 every day, so
Good.
For everyone that is tuning in right now, Lindsay right is here, and I did put her YouTube channel also. Go check it out. She's showing a lot of videos recently on her Gary Burr projects and even her ADU she's doing in California. So go check that out and subscribe. And so Lindsay, like we are talking on this topic of kind of landlording and how a lot of people think it's evil. I think, there's a lot of pushback about real estate investors buying up homes and you becoming a landlord. Violetta kind of talked about her, when she was younger, kind of her views on it and what it is now. So what is your thoughts on this whole idea of landlording being evil and real estate investors buying up all these homes?
well, I rented a bunch of apartments throughout my lifetime. So in like when you're on the other side, the tenant side, you do see a lot of landlords that are basically doing the bare minimum and not even sometimes, right? Like you see rundown apartments and they don't repair anything. And if you choose to live in C neighborhoods, for example, then you know those landlords are not going to do a lot of repairs, a lot of updates, and everything like that you would see as a tenant. And then they go and raise your rent every year, right? So you're like, wait, I'm making minimum wage, and the place that I live is not nice, and nothing is getting repaired. And then they're gonna raise my rent? Like, what? I already live in a higher cost of living area. But then when you are, switch your mindset and you are an investor, and then I hope that most investors here in the school do care about their investments, do care about their houses, and that's the people that I surround myself from, like in school. And then it's not predatory, right? Like it's not like let's trying to make every single penny out of this house and not try to repair anything, not have livable standards, and that's why I don't think it's evil. I think there's a ethical way of having a business and conducting your investments.
But what may have changed for you? Like you said, growing up, you saw the landlord maybe not taking care of these properties that you were staying at, and you're raising your rent. So I would think if I, grew up that way, I'd be looking at landlords as evil, and buying up real estate wouldn't be the path that I was going to go down. So what might have flipped or made you see things differently later on?
Yeah, so you're on the other side and making minimum wage. Like every single thing, it just stresses you out even more, right? But growing up and making more money and trying to invest your money and trying to change the view from just a B worker working hard. I think I refer to this friend that I always would say like, "Oh, I'm such a hard worker. I can work out. I can work 60 hours a week. Like that's not a problem just to make more money." But then she told me, "You don't need to work harder. You just need to work smarter." So that really like, oh, nobody said that to me ever in my life. Like, right, my parents were like, "Oh, work hard. That's how you're gonna make it. Right? That's how you're making more money." And then changing that the view of what can I do more strategically to generate wealth, and then that's how you start looking at other people that are building wealth, and you ask her, kind of like Sarah Garrett used to say, like I used to ask all the old people at my job, like, how did you do it? Like, how did you retire early? How did you do this? How did you buy that truck? Like, what is it that you're doing? And then it resonates with me because I would ask, I was in my 20s and I was ask people like, what are you gonna do for retirement? Like, how are you gonna send your kids to college? Like planning for the future, and it would be like the stock market, and a few people were doing real estate, so that's how I started. I started the stock market right fire movement.
Well, you speaking of asking older people, I just want to say good morning to Jim, the grumpy ground contractor tuning in. He was on the earlier call this morning in the school community, so thanks for stopping by. But I'm not sure if you guys have your pages open. I know you guys have connected to your YouTube channels also. But I do see people, I think, tuning in from your folks from the paired channels. I see Roberto and Julia tuning in, Claudia Herrera. Yeah, so good morning. Thank you, folks, for all tuning in. Make sure you guys subscribe to everyone's channels. But yeah, I think for me, the biggest thing is I think I have a hard time when there's so much hate. Like I don't know if you guys see that or feel that. Just talking to most people, the everyday person that's not investing in real estate, maybe a lot of them, that word hate comes up. It's just kind of this like they just really feel that landlords are evil, and it's really hard to change their mind or have them have a different viewpoint on it. So, like Violetta, do you see that in kind of even like towards like family members around you, your circle, like people have that opinion about it?
None. I haven't gotten like hate from my family. Theirs comes more out of fear. Like they think that I'm stretching myself like too thin, or like risking putting myself too much at risk or whatever. I see the hate more like definitely online. I mean, obviously, right? Like you got the keyboard warriors. Uh, but I feel like it's because since we're like smaller and right here available, they can't go and hate on these big corporations because but with us we're more accessible, so they could easily just hate directly on us and everything. um because they do see us as like the problem. But like one of the things that kind of changed my mindset on it too, because throughout this journey I've had to like reflect on like what I'm doing and everything like that. And I always remember like when I went to my second ship, my captain, he gave it like one of the a great speech that impacted like my mindset, and I carried that through my naval career, and now like I'm applying it to real estate. Whereas that he saw like the bad people like staying in, and the good leaders and stuff usually like just get up and quit the military, and then the bad people stay. So nothing gets solved or whatever. So he decided to stay and be one of the good peoples and actually drive change, which he did because he went up the ranks and really advocated for his sailors. And so I apply that mentality with real estate. Is like at the end of the day, like the bad people are still going to be investing in real estate, and we've seen it throughout this time, right? and trying to squeeze out every penny out of their tenants, and dehumanizing their tenants and just seeing them as dollar signs and things like that. So those people are going to continue to invest, whereas like us, that we have like want to actually have more of a harmony, more of a balance. If we let that mentality is like, oh, it's immoral to own so many properties or whatever, like nothing's going to change at the end of the day. That duplex that I bought, either I bought it or some corporation or some other investor that doesn't care about the tenants is going to get it. So at least here, I know I am doing my little small parts, and you can have an immediate impact, right? Like I can have an immediate impact. At least I know in my three duplexes that I have that I am not raising the rent every chance I get, or letting the property just be basically a slumlord. So I think that's just a mindset shift that I had to have, and a lot of people don't have that yet.
Yeah, Jasic tuning in makes a great point. He says, I've never seen someone doing better hating on other success, right? So,
Hmm. Hmm.
like Lindsay, another thing I always hear too, critics say that every home an investor buys is one less for a first time home buyer. So, kind
Hmm.
of, how do you maybe justify that or justify real estate investing when someone brings up that point?
Um, well, technically, it is. It's one less house in the whole market for people to access via first time homeowner. But yeah, no, I would say that it, no, people that don't know about real estate investing doesn't they don't know how much risk we take on taking houses that we inspected, right? Like they have roofs, they have furnaces, they have water heaters. The majority of our calls are about things that we have to work on, or daily struggles. The taxes go up, the insurance go up, did something break, did the sump pump backed up, or whatever. No, we have to work for those contingencies. And with this high interest markets, a lot of us, we don't cash flow, right? We don't even make a profit. Like some of us are even breaking even, and they don't understand that's like the risk. They think we're like buying this house super cheap and then making thousands of dollars. But in most of our cases, we're making like hundreds of dollars in profit. And then you have to put 20% down. And then you have to have your reserves. And then you have to show proof of income versus the debt that you're taking on. There's so many components. Like I would just try to educate them to see like, hey, it's like actually you have to do a lot of work, put a lot of effort, save your money away. If you and I have the same job, save your money away for this investment and then take on the risk, and then hopefully be successful at it.
But like to your point too, I mean, like you did say, yes, technically one home purchase is one less home, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure, like I said, if you go to your YouTube channel, you're showing a lot of things you're burring, and people may not know what the burr is, but are all the properties that you bought, are they able for people to basically live in right away, right? So,
Right.
so what is a burr, I guess, and how are you helping the housing market from that standpoint?
Yeah. So in my case, Gary is an abandoned city. Like there's still over 40% of houses that are not habitable, right? They're dilapidated because they were abandoned 30, 40 years ago and they've been empty. So there hasn't been utilities, or it's just been completely run down, or a takeover landlords that were not taking care of the property correctly, right? So my way of investing is like getting that property now being habitable. So I repair a whole home to the studs and then make it livable. And I rent out to Section 8 tenants that are, dominated by the fair market rent in that area. So I work with the government. Not only they rehab a property, bringing it to livable conditions, and then I rent out to low income government subsidized programs like Section 8.
Have you done any burrs yourself, Violetta, or
Yeah, I mean, um, not necessarily. My first few houses were pretty much almost turnkey, so I did like minimal work on that. But I kept them, and then did some of the burr. Just didn't have to do so much renovation. But yeah, Lynn has a point because These are houses, especially Lynn, the ones that are like, really run down. Like no, no first time home buyers it wants that, and it's just sitting there in this neighborhood, and it's bringing down the neighborhood because nobody wants to buy a house that's in the same block as a rundown house or whatever. There's a negative stigma and everything, right? Um, so you're improving the neighborhoods and making a house available right there and giving housing. I live in a rural area right now, and one of the things I went to, over here in Texas, we have kind of like a drive-through where you could get like beer and candy and snacks or whatever, and some of them like sell like the margaritas in a gallon jug or whatever. And one of the things she said was like, through talking to one of the workers there, she was saying how like there's limited housing. They're like, it's hard to find housing out here. But then I drive around because I explore my neighborhood. There's houses, but they're just run down and they're just sitting there, like not being able to be used. So it's one of the things, and especially one of the things that I want to get with Lynn later on when I'm ready to pick her brain, since you do it already, how I can invest around here and make these houses available by fixing them up, whether I sell them or keep them as rentals. So that's one of the things that you can do with real estate investing.
Jacek makes a good point. He says the other side of the coin is another home someone can live in that can't afford
Mhm.
buying. And like I said, so here is Lynn's YouTube channel. So go subscribe. Violetta's Instagram page. Also, if you don't know, Lynn was also featured on Bigger Pockets Rookie. So go check out that episode on YouTube. And also, Lynn and Violetta did an interview on Lynn's channel. So there is the episode. So go check that out and hit the like button. Frank Old Guy REI says gallon size margaritas. Uh,
Yes, like the milk jugs, that's what they sell. You go there, pull in whatever flavors they have, and yeah, they fill it like it's usually frozen margaritas. And yeah, I need to go to the next one because at that one they didn't sell it. They sold beer and stuff, but I need to go to the other one and try their
What did I
margaritas.
miss? Gallon sized margaritas.
I was saying that here in Texas, right here where I'm at, there is kind of like almost like car wash style, like but they turn it into you drive through and there's snacks and beers or whatever, and there's usually like a worker there that gets it for you. But some of them sell gallon size margaritas, like they literally get like one of those gallon milk jugs and fill it with frozen margarita, and you could buy it like that.
How much is that?
I don't know. I'll get back to you on that because now that I remembered about it, I need to go today.
Wow.
Like I said, we always we were joking since the last live because Violetta and Lynn and Jen was on. They were talking about the Backstreet Boys concert, and Violetta actually just attended that. So see, I think she's trying to recover. But on that point, right? I mean, maybe to relate it to rental properties and whatnot, right? Like the tickets for these concerts and Backstreet Boys are ridiculous, right? And people don't seem to have an issue, I guess, paying that price to go see these people, right? And
Mhm.
a lot of times, you may increase your rent $25, $50, and there's all this pushback, right? So to me that's just where our we are in society, right? The people are
Mhm.
spending money on certain things and they think like housing should be provided for them. And I think that's one of the biggest pushbacks when a lot of people say, like, do you think real estate investors should profit on something like housing when it's like it's a necessity, right, for people? So when you guys hear that, like, how do you guys push back against someone that brings that point across?
Uh, well, for me, like I always tell them it's nice to live in this perfect world where housing is either affordable or provided or whatever, but we gotta live in the reality. Similar to like owning a business and everything. Like there's you know, it's capitalism, right? And we have to play the game, unfortunately, right? We have to do it. Like, we can't just continue to be on the sidelines because, like, people are out here making money and you're still struggling, trying living paycheck to paycheck and everything. So the things you can control is how you invest in real estate, what you do as a landlord. Same thing with running a business, how you are as a business or owner, whether you're providing, a livable wage or whatever. But I was home like, unfortunately, this is reality, and it's not pretty, but you do what you can do to do at least with compassion and empathy.
Lynn, any thoughts on that?
I would refer them to all of us channels because I don't think we're very special people like Sugar says. I am not intelligent, more intelligent than the others. I worked a nursing job for many years. You're a firefighter. Violet used to work in the army. We don't have trust funds. We don't have like inheritance that we're putting up to work per se. But I would just review, but like, well, I did and it takes a lot of sacrifice. Like, I do live in Los Angeles. I do live in Los Angeles, and a lot of people like I live far from downtown. Like, I commute to work every day. That's a sacrifice that I do. But I was able to purchase a first time home here in the highest city, and most one of the most high cities in the whole country. And then I did it what liquidating my 401k. If you want it, then I can line out steps for you to go get it, right? But then do you want to do that? Do you want to put the sacrifice? Do you want to put your money away? Do you want to take an extra side hustle to make extra money? Do you want that? Because if you complain about it and you want it, then I can totally help you. But if you just want to complain about it and not do anything about it, then I can't really do anything for you.
All right, let's get to some of these comments coming to the chat real quick. Let's see. Charles McCune is here. He sounds like a lippy headache. He said. J6 said one of those will keep you dreaming instead of getting closer to accomplishing the dream. Is he talking about the Margaritas or Backstreet Boy concert? But yeah, I think he's just saying, what? It's a distraction a lot of times, right? Where people are buying things, distractions, and consumerism, right? Instead of focusing on trying to improve themselves. Joe V says, "Who would have thought a real estate live turns to margaritas?" Curtis Knight, haven't seen you here before, but thanks for stopping by. Please subscribe. He says, "I have an issue with." I wouldn't go to a free Backstreet Boys concert. Let's see. Josh Burdick is here. He says it takes investors to bring homes to market. Yeah, that's what
That's
Lynn was
true.
saying too, right?
That's
Rehabbing properties. Yep, Joe Frank says yes. We need margaritas to help us get through the 5 years of suck. So maybe we can stop right there real quick because I think that's like Lynn kind of touched on it, right? There's people don't realize that, right? A lot of people like when they say real estate investors or landlords are evil and whatnot. And Frank is bringing up this 5 years of suck. And, I've touched on a lot of the struggles that I've gone through, these early years in investing. Like Violetta, have you, gone through some struggles in, the first 5 years of real estate investing, dealing with tenants, these type of things. So how was like the beginning 5 years of investing?
Oh man, it's a lot of like growing pains and learning. Even just this last year, like I learned something new of like it was my first time taking over tenants. Usually I buy the properties like vacant, and I didn't know like about rent rolls or anything like that. So it was a little bit of a headache to get it. The lucky thing is like their leases were up and they were leaving. They weren't bad. It's just like they were Section 8, and there was a little bit of uh, I guess I just didn't do my due diligence on like what their status was, what terms they had. Like one of them actually, Section 8 doesn't cover the whole rent. So it was like 2 months. I was like, why am I only getting like a certain percentage? And then we figured out it's because the tenant was supposed to pay the other portion. And like, so that was like a learning thing, and just learning how to make sure that especially like plumbing has always been a headache for me. It's always plumbing. And now I just know that when I take over these properties, that just add a little bit extra because it's they're older homes that I take over, so it's just kind of like either I fix the whole plumbing, like, or just like allocate funds for that. So yeah, a lot of I had a few random tenants that I've had to evict a few. I had one that like um, we had to let them break the lease because they were kind of uh, they were having issues with the other tenant. It was a duplex, so the other tenant and they were like, she was causing chaos. So we're just like, all right, we'll let you break the lease, and luckily that just peacefully ended. So, but yeah, nothing too crazy yet so far. Luckily, knock on wood.
I want to say good morning to Dion. Dion Talk Financial Freedom stopping by. He says, good tenants tip their evil over their landlords, he's saying. But if anyone hasn't, I'm sure a lot of people in the chat have already picked up their copy of Dion's recently released book. So there is the Amazon link. There it is. Lynn's showing it off. So yes, go pick up your book, go pick up your copy, and bring your copy to the One Rental at a Time event in February. So maybe Dion can sign it. Everyone, the tickets are available, and I highly, highly recommend grabbing your tickets soon because I believe once the Sub Two community or Pace Morby starts pushing that he will be speaking at the event, I believe those tickets are going to sell quickly. So I highly
Really?
recommend. What is that?
Where's it at?
Vegas.
Oh,
Oh, really? I
you
keep
didn't
saying
tell
I'm not
her,
gonna go
Lynn.
back to
Tell her.
Vegas.
Oh my goodness, Lynn, can you tell her about the event and what is the event all about in February?
So that's our communities event founded by Michael Silver. He's an economist by trade, but we have a huge community, like 500 people now, actually. Every year he makes a real estate event, a conference in Vegas, and it's actually hosted at the Blind Center of Vegas. So everything is like
Mhm.
a donation for the blind people that are working there. So uh, we have 3 days, right? 3 days of speakers and a lot of fun. I mean, we do, everybody gets together and we talk about real estate. Everybody has like different strategies, but we have Dion who just wrote the book that I showed.
Mhm.
Michael Server also wrote a book. Pace Morby is going to be there. Jason Hartman is going to be there. Uh, then a lot of people from our community, but those are the two major key
Yeah,
hosts. Yeah.
And
I
it's in
forget.
February.
Yeah,
Yes.
the President's
Okay.
Day weekend. It Saturday is Valentine's Day, so I'm not sure if that's going to be an issue for a lot of people. But yes, like Brandon Potts is one of the speakers. He's in the school community. He's in Texas. He does infill. He does build to rent. That's his YouTube channel. He was a speaker in the school community today. Get to know the speaker. There's also going to be REI Jared, who does rent by the room. Aaron Amin and his wife will be speaking. They're going to be speaking about their residential assisted living project that they are working on. So there's going to be a lot of great speakers. So, like I said, I really recommend that you go get your tickets now before the Sub Two and Pace Morby community finds out about it. I think those tickets will sell quickly. Let's see, where's some other? They're talking about margaritas in the chat. They're talking about yes,
Yeah,
they're talking
Mark's
about the
gonna
already.
stop inviting me because now we got Backstreet Boys now, margaritas, and someone
No,
brought
so
up NC.
I'm actually going to skip to this question or comment by Josh Burdick. He says tenants fight when one plays Backstreet Boys too loud.
I think that's why.
You know, let's go with this question real quick then. What's the one myth about landlords you wish you could erase forever? Lynn, do you have something you would want to erase that people think that landlords are, I guess?
We don't care about our tenants, probably. That I I do have a property manager, but I make sure that things and that those houses are fixed. Like I don't want anything to be holding over. Like no water is not acceptable, no light is not acceptable, no sewage is not acceptable. So for me, those things are very important, and I don't have like that since I'm not self managing. I don't have that particular directly connection with the tenant, but I don't think I'll be good at that because I'll be like overly helpful, I feel like. So, um, yeah. I would say that we don't care about tenants. I definitely do care about my tenants. I care about the house state, and I care about their well-being and having livable conditions.
What about you, Violetta?
I think being grouped in with the big corporate ones is like there's difference between like small ones like us that are just like doing it for financial freedom and some wealth and stuff versus the bigger corporations, and they just view everybody, lump us all in the same group. So I think I would like to get rid of that.
I some people are messaging me. Chris Webb, who is tuning in from Virginia, he just sent me a text message. I guess he showed me his confirmation that he bought his tickets for the ORAD event. So, Chris, I'll believe it when I see it because you also told me you were going last year and you didn't attend. But I did buy my tickets, and if people haven't heard, once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm gonna have a little event on my channel, and I'm going to be giving away a VIP ticket for the event. I haven't thought of how I'm going to give it away yet. I'm not sure if it's going to have to be a person in the school community or someone maybe not even in the school community that just want to maybe attend the event and find out what it's about. I haven't got that far, but once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'll have something on my channel, give away a VIP ticket, and I'll probably give away a few copies of Dion's book if people are interested. So when I figure that out, I'll put it out on social media, and hopefully you guys can all tune in, let your friends know, come and check it out. Let's see. Max is here. Max is always late, but he has. Thanks for always tuning in and supporting. Let's see. Charles says yes. The book is great, Dion's book, but he also realizes that there's a lot of things in the book that he you may have missed on YouTube. A lot of Dion's videos and things like that. So definitely go pick up the book, and it's about 500 pages. So let's see. Just bought. I'm Chris Webb. He's all right. Yes, and if people don't know, Mike, he got hurt last year. He fell off his, well, this sounded more. He flew off the handle on his bike and he got hurt. He broke his collarbone, so he didn't attend last year's event. So he'll be there this year. So he'll take it easy. Let's see. What other questions do we have here?
For the person that's saying I look like Mr. Spock, that's a compliment. Thank you very much.
Who's that? The
That's
one?
a that's a troll. I
Yeah.
just
Oh,
ignore
yeah.
them because their goal is to distract the
Yeah,
vibe.
Flavio's not doing his job as a moderator. Flavio is supposed to be controlling these individuals. But actually, I believe Flavio is probably on the Gen Z call right now in the school community
Mm,
with Cody Davis. Cody Davis is also going to be another speaker at the ORAD event. He's going to be kicking it off on Saturday, day one, as one of the Gen Z speakers.
mm,
But yes, so I guess for me, the biggest thing is that I think like you guys are talking about, people just think, if you even if you have more than one property, you're like rich or wealthy, right? And I think
mhm,
people don't realize like how much actual stuff we have to go through, right? Buying rental properties, and even like you're talking about maintaining it, right? So I think that's the thing people. And so I have a friend who, I think you, Lynn, might have met her on one of the school calls, but she wanted to get investing. She bought her a property in Ohio, out of state. She got really caught up in, this like Columbus is a hot market, I want to get in there and whatnot. And so she bought there, but she did, that whole landlording side of things was just too much for her, right? She just, she wasn't proactive enough to like get the property manager to do this or be on top of this and this. And it's just, so now she's selling, I don't think she's even had it for a year. And then I think that goes back to the support group, right? Like from the beginning, I kind of told, hey, you want to make sure you're going to a market where you have other people that you can reach out to and connect with. And but she just got caught up in, oh, Columbus is this up and coming great market, and that's what sold her on it, right? So unfortunately, she has her property for sale and whatnot. But
yeah.
um, yeah,
And the problem with that, they also like want to get every profit out of there. So they'll a lot of the new ones will see property managers as like, why am I gonna spend my money? I could do it or whatever. And then they get overwhelmed, and then that's what happens. They they end up selling. I know a few people that did that. I was like, just get a property manager. Let me tell you, because I had an instance where the recent um, duplex that I just bought, the seller freaking gave my information instead of the property managers. And so I had one other tenant calling me like all that weekend, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know, see how people can, manage them." Uh, so eventually, she was moving out, so that's the reason why she was like calling me like nonstop. Like I'm out of state, like the property managers there, like you gotta go through them and stuff. So yeah, always a property manager. I can't be having these phone calls and stuff.
All right, so let's maybe get into some chat GPT lightning round real estate is evil kind of questions. So you
Ooh,
have to
Hmm.
answer them as quickly as possible. So
oh no.
let's okay, so we'll go. Let's
Lynn goes first.
okay, Lynn goes first. Lynn goes first. Would you higher rent or lower profit?
If I have to choose,
Yeah,
yes.
like
Okay.
I
I
guess
think
it's trying to ask like would you want constantly raise your rent or would you rather have like a tenant that's steady, been there for a while and just kind of keep them there without increasing your rent in a sense?
Oh, like if I had to choose, I would
Yeah.
have a long, steady straight of income from a renter that wants to be there and wants to take care of the property rather than turnover and turnover. Yes.
Yeah,
So I think that's on that point, that is something that from the people that want to say landlord or real estate investors are evil is they're now also not seeing how sometimes it's the tenants I wouldn't say fault is the right word, but they don't know a lot of the things that we have to deal with as landlords and investors on these type of like when they vacate the property or evictions
hmm,
and these types. So sometimes it falls on the tenants too, where there's this. That's why rent has to increase because I have these costs that I have to prepare for, right?
yeah.
Okay, Violetta. Let's see. Would you ever cap rents?
Uh, I think it should. Yes, with a few exceptions. I think it should be in like time times, right? Um, and I will speak from experience because being military, definitely around the military towns, as soon as we get an increase for our housing stipend, uh, the rents go up for just because ours went not, but our BAH is what we call it. The housing stipend goes up because we were struggling, like sailors and military members were struggling to pay the rent, and so the government military is like, all right, we're gonna raise it. And then as soon as it comes out on the news, the landlords around here, apartments and stuff, start raising it. And so I feel like I think there could be a balance. Maybe I don't know, just like to throw it out there, maybe like 5 year increments or whatever, to also allow for like inflation and stuff like that, or maybe keep up with. I don't know. Like I don't have all the answers for that, but I but of course it's never going to be perfect. Like they're just going to either do too crazy cap or too or not enough or not at all. So like it's kind of hard. I personally would with time, like times and stuff.
Huh? Well, Chris Webb says, great answer. Yes, caps cannot be final. They need a time component. But
Hmm.
I've been slacking. I've been missing some people tuning in from Instagram. So we got Hugo Stay Winning Podcast tuning in. So everyone go check him out on YouTube, Instagram. He has a super good YouTube channel about real estate, finance, and crypto. Trade Better 99. So he says, popping in between projects to say happy Saturday.
Hmm.
The best landlords I have met all have Costco executive memberships. So we can dig into that a little bit towards the end.
Oh
But
yeah, I'm interested in with that theory. Yeah.
let's see. Oh, say Mojo Mindset. Where have you been, man? He's been missing in action. So he was a regular on my channel for a while, and he's been avoiding me for a while now. But go check out Mojo Mindset. I may have his link here still yet. I'll look for it after. Let's see. Old guy REI says he has where did his stuff go? He was talking about his property manager. All five of his property managers are pretty good now. So if you guys don't know, Frank is in 5 different markets, which is pretty amazing to me. And he's gone through some struggles. Definitely that those 5 years have sucked, but he's starting to get his systems in place, and things are looking better. And he is, he's looking to relocate out of California and probably retire in Washington towards Dion. And he's going to be everybody's handyman over there. Sounds like everyone is finding out that Frank is moving to that area, and they're ready for this contractor to move in that area. Late Start Wealth. Hey, John, how's it going? John is tuning in. John is actually looking to retire in that area also too. He's in Florida currently. When he retires, he's going to head up towards Washington. Let's see. Mojo Mindset. I think this is for you, Violetta. He says, "Thank you for your service." So Mojo Mindset is a Coast Guard pilot. He's a helicopter pilot in the
Oh,
Coast Guard.
nice.
Him and the wife is also, I believe, in the Coast Guard. But she's in the
Okay.
service. I forget which branch, but I believe Coast Guard also.
Mm,
Um, Mojo Mindset says military BAH is so public info. So once the DoD releases rates, the market knows.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because they already know the apartments and all housing people, like they know every December/January we get like an increase, and then it might change or whatever, and immediate effects, and it's so frustrating. So that's why my answer was, yes, caps, but time limits. You know, I don't know. I think maybe 5 years, might be three, maybe five. Um, but yeah, I already explained it, like because of inflation and of course like the taxes and
There's
everything.
other components to that too, like in Los Angeles, like there's rent
Hmm.
control apartments. So if you can only raise it 3% yearly, so if you don't raise 1 year, then you missed out on any potential growth on that too. So
Yeah. And I feel like it could be incentives too, maybe like a tax or maybe a reduction in property taxes if you're keeping your rents, like not raising them by a certain percentage or whatever. I don't know. There's different ways that because I've thought about it. I was like, how can we do kind of like a win-win, or at least close to a win-win? So, yeah, that'd be another thing that I thought of, like maybe an incentive or something. Because also the insurance, like it's hard because the insurance companies are also just like for no reason hiking up stuff. So it's like there's a lot of, like Lynn said, a lot of different variables there.
I also want to say good morning to Cynthia, tuning in from Instagram, Frank's better half. And Rian is tuning in also from Instagram. So good morning. All Nighter Hider's here. So welcome back from Alaska. Yes, he hasn't been sleeping well
Ooh.
lately. So if you haven't seen him much in the daily financial news or moderating as much, yes, he's having a hard time sleeping. So hopefully he gets back on schedule. Let's see. He says I've only got a business membership at Costco. Where does that put me? John Morris, Late Start World says no Costco here. So there's that's weird. There's more
oh, how do
people.
you live without Costco? I don't understand.
Look, I don't have Costco because I don't trust myself to go there and not spend money and buy stuff that I don't need. That's why, because I tried it and it's like, no, let me just not.
Hold on. Chris Webb says with the topic of hoarding, what are the people saying about it in terms of real estate? That certain people or firms are just holding onto homes units for some reason? Hmm. I think maybe
Ownership.
from that perspective, it's a lot of it is like let's say short-term rentals, right? A lot of people look at that as these homes that could be used for other purposes, but people are buying up these homes to Airbnb it, make even more money or make a profit on it. So I think from a hoarding standpoint, it's investors or real estate people that are buying up properties that homeowners could be in, but yet people are making a profit as like vacation rentals, even second homes. I think a lot of people have a problem with people that have second homes that are only there, once or twice out of the year, right? So it's definitely I see that mindset coming up a lot more, and I'm not sure if you guys follow like in New York, right? The person I forget his name, Mandani, or who's running for mayor.
Mhm.
I think it's mayor, but very socialist mindset, talking about like grocery stores being government run, all these like free transportation, free programs, right? So I just
Mhm.
see that getting pushed and pushed more often, and it's an easy sell to people, and a lot of people view housing as something of um, that should be provided for them, right? And I think you folks both probably agree to some extent where you know if you put in the work, right, it is attainable, right? But a lot of people just don't want to put in that extra work a lot of times. Let's get back to some lightning round question. Who went last? Violetta went last, I believe. So Lynn,
Yeah.
you're up. Flipping or renting, which hurts more, you think, the housing market?
Oh wow. Which one hurts more? I would say Philippine, right? If I had to choose, why do I get the hard ones? Anyways,
I know. I was like, I got the easy. Uh,
because flipping it is a job, as a business, an active basis of income, right? Renting is for the long term, so you're not gonna see that like time component of it. But it like also flipping, you have to have secure hard money, right? It's a business that majority of people actually fail at because you have to secure hard money, you have to finish in time, you have to work with the city if you work in a problematic city, and then sell it in a market. Like right now, it's a buyer's market. So a lot of flippers are like suffering, right? There's no selling point. Then again, your business is compromised. But if I have to choose for the greater good, then it would have to be flipping.
All right, I'll try to get a
mm.
hard one then for Violetta. Let's see. I don't know. Okay, have you sold a home, Violetta? Though any of your investment, have you
Yeah,
sold a home?
I sold both of them, but I
Okay.
lived in them. I think
Okay. So
the
this one
yeah.
is sell a home to a first-time buyer or highest offer.
Uh, I would personally do a first time buyer. I think, um, especially with my first with my first two homes that I did. So, because yeah, like yeah, that one's a hard one at the moment because I don't need like to make such a big profit. I think I'm okay with making some profit rather than like you know trying to go to the highest bidder.
Oh, now Mojo Mindset says, "Do you regret selling?"
Yes. Yes, my first house, and that one was an emotional sell because like I had a bad tenant. It was my first bad tenant, and well, I wouldn't say bad tenant. It's just it was during COVID, so he was a shipyard worker, and then on top of that, they were going to a divorce and stuff like that. So then he struggled and that, but there was a lot of damage to the property. I think maybe it was like 7,000 after I did like the numbers or whatever. Which now I'm like 7,000 for like a house that has been providing income and will provide income, and it was in a good location too, where people were like wanting to buy and stuff. So, yeah. Plus sentimental value because it was my first home. Like I lived in it, my first home and stuff. So, yeah, kind of regret selling that one. The second one a little bit sentimental value, mostly because I really loved the pear tree that was on there. I miss those pears.
All right, so Lynn, which is worse, vacancy or bad tenant?
Ooh.
Oh, I have a property manager, so I don't really deal with the bad tenant. Vacancy kills my cash flow, so I must say
Mhm.
vacancy.
All right. I don't know. Did you have a thought on
That's
that one,
easy.
Violetta? That's a pretty good question. Vacancy or bad tenant, which is worse?
I think for me, a bad tenant because you kind of know the turnover cost, So, but with the bad tenant, like they can just ruin your your whole property, and then instead of it being vacant for like a month, maybe it's like 3 months because now they took out all the copper wiring or they burnt the house down or something. I don't know, like Uh,
Let's see. Okay, this is about an hour, so we can talk about anything, whatever comes to mind. But this will be for Violetta then, or both of you actually. We'll keep things a little light right now. Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
Oh wow.
Backstreet Boys, and the reason why is because I think I love, because first of all, NC broke up and they, you got Justin Timberlake and all of them. There's only like one NSYNC, former NSYNC member that I it's still good, um, and that's Lance Bass. I think, and but for Backstreet, like they stayed together. Like I like their whole story, their whole vibe. Like they still are friends. They, doing all these shows in Vegas, and and I like their music better. I like it. Plus, they're still around. I still go to their shows, so that's the important part too.
I'm gonna trust Violet on this one. I'm an immigrant. I'm an immigrant. I didn't grow up with it, so I'm not
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
100% sure
All
what.
right. Yeah, so if anyone not really sure why we brought that up, the last time Lynn and Violetta were both on and Jen was on, they were talking about going to the Backstreet Boys concert and they got all excited. And Violetta actually did attend the concert, and she posted it. I saw it on social media. So
Hmm.
it took about 2 weeks to get her scheduled because I think she was recovering
Oh my
from
god,
the
yeah.
event. Uh, oh, Frank is
And it wasn't
showing
even from drinking. It was just because I'm too old to be up.
margaritas. Yeah, the gallon margaritas there.
Yeah. Oh, over there
Oh,
against the mountain.
okay. Now we have. Okay, so Frank's asking. Okay, wait. We'll go with Frank's one before Dion's. Frank's asking Menudo.
Yes, menudo. I love menudo.
All right. All right. So okay. So this then Spice Girls or the Pussycat Dolls? That'll be from.
Ooh, I don't know. I wasn't like I didn't grow up with them. I mean, yes, technically, yeah, because they were around and stuff, but I didn't like listen to them as much. But I think the Pussycat Dolls were more around.
Yeah.
I think I heard more of their songs, so I think them.
All right. Yeah. So Violetta, like I said, what are you also working on? I know you have like a podcast. Lynn has been on it, right? So you're also trying to build like this community of individuals, right? So talk
Yes,
about that a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah. I'm trying to build a community of Latina investors. And get more of the Latinas out here because they're trying to like get into investing and they don't think about like real estate per se. They might want to get like their first home or whatever. And just like me, I'm like, oh, I didn't know I could like do this and gain financial freedom and build wealth. So that's what I'm trying to do: educate and make it more achievable. And but I have a lot of barriers that we already kind of like touched upon that I have to get through to them. So yeah, and I do that through the podcast. I did take a break because I was moving and just lifing, and so now I'm back and back on track.
And then Lynn, I don't know if you want to touch on why this Costco membership thing is
Oh yeah,
the last time Harrison Trade Better was on my live stream, he had the Costco background as his image in the background. But where has this all started?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I knew it was controversial to say I don't believe in Costco, but I didn't know how much the school were gonna bring it up, even in the comments. Yes, so I don't believe Costco saves you money. For the average person, I don't know if you guys have a business and you're superly meticulous with how much money you save by buying. I don't know what you buy, guys, from Costco, like furniture or whatever.
a year's
But
worth of toilet
for
paper.
the average person that goes to Costco twice a month and spends $300 every time they go, if you multiply that twice a month, 600 times a year, how much money do you actually spend in Costco? 7,000, $8,000, and as opposed to like not going to Costco and then getting your regular, would you think that you would spend an additional 7,000? I don't think so. The reason why, like now I'm going on a rant, but the reason why Costco stock is doing so well and such a great tradable stock is because people overspend in Costco, and that's my point. That's my view.
So there's Lynn's YouTube channel also in the chat. Go subscribe, please. Check it out. Hit the like button. Violetta's Instagram page. So if you want to know more about her community, go follow her there. And like I said, this is the Amazon link for Dion's book. So if you haven't picked up your copy yet, go check it out. It's a great book. It is 500 pages, close to 500 pages, but I'm sure you'll learn a lot of things. And as Charles mentioned earlier, there's a lot of things that you won't find on his YouTube channel that's in the book. Hey, Tiffany's here. Haven't seen her in a while. Thanks for stopping by. She says, Lynn, I am not a renewal my Sam, so agreed. um,
I got one.
no, well,
My dad's a Sam's person. Yep.
well, Hyder says I save merely by buying my petrol from Costco. Okay. Well, okay. So on that note, then, what do you think about the people that wait in line for Costco gas to save whatever, 20 cents,
Oh,
or
you're
I don't
never
know
gonna
what it is.
find me waiting in
I'm too
line for.
busy. I'm too busy. I don't have the time. I get stressed out. I don't even like going to the grocery store. My husband does all that stuff. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's 100
crazy.
degrees in LA. I'm not sitting to
Yeah,
pump
that's
some gas.
Hold, okay, hold. There's tons of questions. Wait, so Mojo Mindset now says 4.99 rotisserie chickens are the foundation to any rental portfolio.
Guys,
Um,
if you purchase a gift card at Costco, you can buy things at Costco. You don't have to have money.
that's right. Okay, so yes, Lynn
Ah,
mentioned that last time, right? So wait, so wait. So you can purchase the gift card online. You're saying, and then you can shop there. Yeah.
Online at the store, and then you can shop there.
Okay.
interesting. I'm
So
gonna go do
okay.
that because I want to be. So, and then TikTok gets me because I'll see like, oh, you this is at Costco, and I was like, no, resist, resist.
Josh said he only has membership for the samples. Yes, yeah. Tiffany says, yeah, not renewing her Sam Club too. Yeah. Late Late Star World says I haven't been to a Walmart in a year. Hyder says Costco gas is an average of 20 cents cheaper. With all the fuel I burn, it's worth it, and I save money. Okay, Hyder, you save money, but is there a line when you fill up? Like, how long do you say on average you probably have to wait to get your fuel there? Oh, he said, oh, I don't wait in gas lines. I start thinking of filling up at half tank so I don't scramble. Oh, okay. All right. Well, anything else you guys want to dig into before I wrap things up? It's always fun getting you folks on. I know Violetta has some stuff planned for October, Halloween coming up. So we can dig into that at some point. But anything else you guys want to, what you guys working on? What you guys need help with? So, Violetta, you think we'll see you in Vegas for the ORAD event?
Yes, I had said I was done with Vegas, and the only reason I went was because of the Backstreet Boys and stuff. But now I have to go get tickets for that, so I'm gonna put it on my calendar and go check out the tickets and stuff and start planning that
Well,
event
Lynn,
for
that's
them.
your responsibility then. You
Yeah,
need
I was
to
gonna
get
tell her. I was
Violetta
gonna.
there.
Come together.
Yeah, I was gonna
I bought
DM
my
you. I was like,
ticket
if you're going.
already, so I'm going to be there.
Okay.
I haven't told
Yeah,
my
we could.
boyfriend, so we'll see how that goes.
But
Yeah.
Lynn didn't hang out with us very much last year. She was kind of like um to herself. You know, she didn't spend time with us after the event.
Because I went with my cousins and my boyfriend, and
I
so
know. But I
they're
Mm.
like,
highly if
"We'll have
anyone,
dinner."
if other people are gonna go to the event, I highly recommend if you can get there earlier, a few days earlier, and even stay a couple of days after. Monday is a holiday, President's Day weekend, so a lot of the networking is done after the event. I mean, the event is great itself, but a lot of the relationships you're building is spending time outside of the event. So that's where a lot of the fun, I guess, happens in a sense, or even the community building. So, like I said, if you haven't picked up your ticket, I highly recommend go checking it out now before Pace Morby's community finds out about it, because I think he has a big following already in Vegas, and
Mm.
once they hear he's speaking for possibly $300, I think those tickets are gonna sell out pretty quickly. All right. Well, speaking of Pace, Chris Webb says I'm looking to sub to a Costco membership. All right. Well, if you don't have anything else, we can wrap it up on this. Let's see. Did any questions I didn't cover? Backstreet Boys. Yeah, I think we're good. Well, that was one of the questions ChatGPT came up with, because I tried to make the topic. So if you guys didn't see the thumbnail, it said quit playing games, I think was part of the thumbnail. So
The
it was supposed to
music.
have
Oh.
a Backstreet Boy spin on it. Um, let's see. Yeah, BuzzTune is asking. I wonder when Pace and Hartman will announce to their group. Mikey, you just worry about no bicycles until the event, until after the event. No riding your bike so you don't get hurt this year. But yeah, everyone, thanks for tuning in on a Saturday. This is probably Lindsay's only time she's available to do it is on Saturday. If you don't know, Lindsay also runs the Friday out of state investing call in the school community. So go check that out. And then, oh, everyone, Dion is going live in a few minutes. So once we're done here, go check that out and show your support there. Make sure you hit the like button over there also. And if, like I said, if you haven't picked up his book, go check out his book and he will hopefully sign it in February in Vegas. So everyone, have a good rest of the weekend and I'll see you folks back on Monday.